Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Welcome to Through the Bible with Grandpa, sitting in the living room in JAX Beach on a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon. Very windy out, but it's very nice. Today, we're going to get back into the Net Bible Reader's Edition. We're reading Genesis chapter 17. The sign of the covenant. Now, in the last chapter, we saw Abraham take matters into his own hands. He said, I'm an old man. Sarai, my wife, is an old woman. God promised us children, but we haven't had any. So let me give God a hand. You don't ever have to give God a hand. If he says he's going to do something, leave it up to him. Trust me. So Sarai gave Hagar, the servant woman, to Abraham, and they had a baby. And the baby's name is Ishmael. And Ishmael, we'll get back to Ishmael. But right now, we're going to talk about Abram and his name changing, and Sarai and her name changing, and the covenant. When Abram was 99 years old, now they haven't had this child yet, and he's 99. I feel like I'm 99, but I'm not. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, I am the sovereign God. Walk before me and be blameless. Then I will confirm my covenant between me and you, and I will give you a multitude of descendants. Abram bowed down with his face to the ground, and God said to him, As for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of a multitude of nations. No longer will your name be Abram. Instead, your name will be Abraham, because I will make you the father of a multitude of nations. I will make you extremely fruitful. I will make nations of you, and kings will descend from you. So he's not just saying the children of Israel are going to descend from him. There's a whole bunch of nations that wind up coming as descendants of Abraham. A lot of the Arab world, as we discussed in previous chapters, a lot of the Arab world are Semites. They're descendants from Abraham, from Shem. That was from back in the 6th through the 9th chapter of Genesis, where we talked about Noah and the flood. And he had 3 sons. Shem was one of the sons, and Shem is the one that Abram came from. So when you say, like, somebody's an anti-Semite, usually you mean they don't like Jewish people. But really, if you want to take it literally, they don't like anybody who's descended from Shem. I will confirm my covenant as a perpetual covenant between me and you. It will extend to your descendants after you throughout your generations. I will be your God and the God of your descendants after you. I will give the whole land of Canaan, the land where you are now residing, to you and your descendants after you as a permanent possession. I will be their God. Then God said to Abraham, As for you, you must keep the covenant requirements I am imposing on you and your descendants and your descendants after you throughout their generations. This is my requirement that you and your descendants after you must keep. Every male among you must be circumcised. You must circumcise the flesh of your foreskins. This will be a reminder of the covenant between me and you. Throughout your generations, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised, whether born in your house or bought with money from any foreigner who is not of your descendants. They must indeed be circumcised. whether born in your house or bought with money. The sign of my covenant will be visible in your flesh as a permanent reminder. Any uncircumcised male who has not been circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin will be cut off from his people. He has failed to carry out my requirements. Then God said to Abraham, as for your wife, you must no longer call her Sarai. Sarah will be her name. And all of you have an aunt, Sarah, named after this Sarah, because the nation, the religion called Islam traces their religion back to Abraham, just like Judaism does and Christianity does. I will bless her and will give you a son through her. I will bless her, and she will become a mother of nations. Kings of countries will come from her. Then Abraham bowed down with his face to the ground and laughed as he said to himself, can a son be born to a man who is 100 years old? Can Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? So not only is he 100, it's a stretch that he'd be able to make a baby. But the woman is the one who bears the baby. And I think it's really, really out of the ordinary for somebody to be 50 and be able to bear a baby. And she's 90. Abraham said to God, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. So he loves Ishmael. Ishmael is his son. Ishmael is his oldest son, in fact. But he wasn't following the requirements that he was given. God said, no, Sarah, your wife, is going to bear you a son, and you will name him Isaac. And Isaac means laughter, because Abraham laughed and said, how's this going to happen? Well, he said, yeah, you want to laugh? You're going to name your kid Laughter. I will confirm my covenant with him as a perpetual covenant for his descendants after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will indeed bless him, make him fruitful, and give him a multitude of descendants. He will become the father of 12 princes. I will make him into a great nation, but I will establish my covenant with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you at this set time next year. When he finished speaking with Abraham, God went up from him. And I can't imagine what it must look like for God to go up from you. Abraham took his son Ishmael and every male in his household, whether born in his house or bought with money, and circumcised them on that very same day, just as God had told him to do. Now Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised. His son Ishmael was 13 years old when he was circumcised. Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised on the very same day. All the men of his household, whether born in his household or bought with money from a foreigner, were circumcised with him. So next time, when we get into chapter 18, we're going to see some visitors, these 3 visitors that come and visit Abraham. Until then, peace out.